Right then, welcome back to another big screen review. This one, of course, you'll know by the title, is my WandaVision review. WandaVision aired its first episode on January 15th and finished up on March 5th, 2021. It's Marvel's first Disney Plus series and doubled as the kickoff for MCU Phase 4. The show follows Wanda Maximoff following the events of Endgame, as she uses her abilities to forge a new and fake vision within a hex she's used in order to live out the life she wants, despite Vision's demise during Endgame. The series had 9 episodes between 20 and 40 minutes, and I'm going to break all of them down and give you my opinion and review on the series. So, spoiler alert. Episode 1, 2 and then 3 follow a sitcom seemingly run by Wanda within the Hex, with standard sitcom characters being present, such as the nosy neighbour, Agnes, who mentions a mysterious husband named Ralph. By episode 3, the sitcom is now in colour, which is suitably the title of the episode. Then episode 4 veers away from this sitcom format, as it sees Monica Rambeau, who Marvel fans knew from Captain Marvel, and Jimmy Woo investigating missing persons cases. These missing people are trapped in Wanda's hex as they discover she is trapping the former residents of Westview, which is on the outside world, a closed down suburb, and she is trapping them within her hex. This is discovered as Monica travels through and into the hex, becoming the resident and character we see Wanda conflict with following the birth of her children, planting the seeds for the arc of Monica's character. During episode 5, then, Vision grows suspicious of the actions of the neighbours and starts to question the nature of the Hex and the town they live in. This was a particularly good episode for me, to be honest, as we are introduced to Evan Peters, who is within the show posing as Pietro Maximoff, aka Quicksilver, who Evan Peters actually plays within the X-Men franchise. They chose this character as opposed to using Quicksilver from the Avengers Age of Ultron film, who was played by Aaron Taylor-Johnson. However, in episode 9 it is revealed that Evan Peters' character is actually the mysterious Ralph, aka Agnes's husband, which was an awful blow-off for me, but anyway, it explained why he was there. Episode 6 is also interesting as we see Billy and Tommy, Wanda's children, aka Wicked and Speed, dress up as Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Wanda and Vision also receive comic book accurate suits for the Halloween Spooktacular. Episode 7, Monica plans her return into the Hex, as we edge closer to her getting her comic book powers. Vision continues to doubt Wanda's honesty, and in the episode's climax it is revealed that it was Agatha all along. Agnes, aka the nosy neighbour, is revealed to be the comic book witch, Agatha Harkness, taking the first 2 letters and last 4 letters of both of her first and last names to make Agnes. A long-time storyline villain of Scarlet Witch and Vision in the Marvel Comics, we see that she has been the mastermind and the driving force behind the whole season. From the Hex itself to even the sitcoms, she was the director. Episode 8 starts with the Salem witch trial of Agatha, showing us her comic book origin. This episode is a real tearjerker as Agatha forces Wanda to endure visions of her life's worst tragedies in a bid to make Wanda believe she is the villain and justify her horrors throughout the series. The episode's post-credit scene sees Tyler Hayward, the series' sort of semi-big bad, using scrapped parts from the Vision who died in Endgame to create the evil White Vision, who has no gauge of what's right and wrong, no human side, in order to set up the finale in what was one of the best post-credit scenes I've seen in a long time in terms of a series. Just really quick, it is very important to note that up until this point I absolutely loved WandaVision and was really enjoying the series as a whole. My favourite episodes were the pilot. The goofiness and funny nature had me hooked and got me to watch more, which is really what you want from a pilot. You need it to make you want to watch more. Episode 4's twist was pretty good, and the beginning of the series plotline intrigued me further into watching the series when I was kind of falling out of love with the sitcom format, which I think went on for a good amount of time, so you were just starting to not want it, and then since it changed, it made you want to watch the series even more. Episode 6 was fun due to the comic book suits and the Halloween party. Then episode 8's whole story and the ending cliffhanger was unreal, and it couldn't have set up the finale any better. However, we have to note the level of disappointment in the finale for me. Up until this episode, the show was probably a 9. The lackluster finale, compared to the quality of the first 8 episodes, completely dropped it for me, probably down to a 7. The level of excitement for the finale was immense, and the level of disappointment was huge, as they dropped the ball with a lot of the character arcs and a lot of the pending plot lines, which left me and fans as a whole disappointed, and frustrated by the letdown it caused. I guess we should now talk about the finale. Don't get me wrong, it was okay and a decent episode, but it really just didn't live up to the potential of the prior episodes. All plot devices were not really capitalised on, especially the Ralph Boner, Agatha Harkness's final fight, White Vision, but we'll get into that in just a second. But on a whole, I'm just going to tell you now, it gets a 7 from me. It's disappointing because it was a fantastic show up until the finale, and it really did get let down, and I was really disappointed, and to be honest, it really put a sour taste in my mouth. However, we will now get into talking about the finale. So then, the finale saw Wicked and Speed take down Tyler Hayward and the department of the government in which he led, which was, for me, was a fitting ending for those two characters, to be honest. Before their demise with the Hex, of course, as they were figments of Wanda's creation, taking Tyler Hayward down using their abilities was a fitting end. And we saw Darcy come in right at the end and take out Tyler Hayward, which is a little bit short for her. She did have a scene cut due to travel restrictions. Got the word. Yeah, so for them that was an alright ending. Vision and White Vision had their showdown as Vision helped his evil counterpart gain the memories he had stored deep in his subconscious, ending their battle and helping him see the more human side of the android, which I thought was an okay ending but a slight letdown for the character's potential. However, it leaves Vision out there in the abyss to be brought back in future Marvel products. Wanda and Agatha then have their showdown, as for a long portion of the episode Agatha is on top, playing mental tricks on Wanda by turning the residents of Westview against her. Eventually though, Wanda uses the same trick Agatha used in episode 8 to prevent Agatha's magic from working, and as a result defeats her and traps her in the nosy neighbour character from the sitcom as a form of torture. For me, this was the best climax of the three big bads, as it leaves the door unlocked for her to come back, but remains a suitable demise for the character with relevance to the season. Other important points were seeing that Evan Peters was of course the mysterious Ralph Boner, who Agatha used a necklace to cast a spell over as her eyes and ears, and as a mole to monitor Wanda. The other point showed Monica's powers and showed her she had got her comic book accurate abilities. However, we never got the rumoured MCU cameo, we got no Senior Scratchy payoff, the Ralph reveal was, as I've mentioned, lackluster at best. And in the end, Wanda tore down the Hex, leaving to go in isolation, losing Vision once again and losing her children in the process. The credits showed Nick Fury in a scroll in a cinema, and began to pay off the scene from Spider-Man Far From Home, which linked all those post-credit scenes together, inclusive of the storyline from Captain Marvel. Then the second and final credit scene showed Wanda splitting herself in two by using dark magic to read the Darkhold book she obtained from Agatha. Now, rumblings suggest that that was in order to make sure that Doctor Strange could not detect her reading the Darkhold. We can also hear the faint voices of Billy and Tommy, which is a clear tease to comic book villain Mephisto, who is heavily rumoured for Doctor Strange 2, which is said to be massively linked to the WandaVision series. In conclusion then, as previously mentioned, it was the first 8 episodes that I loved, and as previously mentioned, was a 9 for me. 9 out of 10. Really, really solid TV show. Then the lackluster finale really dropped it to a 7. 8 if I was being really generous. However, due to the disappointment I'm still feeling 10 days removed from the finale, I'm going with a 7 for WandaVision. A C+ for the show as a whole. A good watch, to be honest, and a fun flick, but a disappointment due to the potential going into the finale, and the level of setup for Doctor Strange 2 was little to none for casual fans and very specific for comic book fans. In my opinion, as a comic book reader and a real big fan of the Marvel Universe as a whole outside this series, it was a disappointment. But I can see why casual fans who just watched that series in itself might have enjoyed it, because it doesn't really disappoint if you don't want the comic book teasers and if you don't want the setup. However, for me, it really did disappoint. So, that is it for my WandaVision review. A C+ grade for Marvel's first Disney Plus series. I'll be watching every episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that review will be up when that series comes to its climax. I'm filming this on Wednesday night. I will have my For Champions Rewards video up tomorrow on Thursday, when you'll have seen that yesterday when you see this, which will come out on Friday night. And the next big screen review will be the Zack Snyder Justice League cut, as I'm going to tackle my first film, because I'm so excited to see what that has in store. For now though, that's it. C+, WandaVision. I will catch you later. Goodbye.